United is playing Aston Villa. If you to check the statistics, Man United has not lost on Boxing Day since 1978. That's an interesting stat, but they come against an Aston Villa side that is actually 1 point off the top.
Welcome to yet another episode of Mr. Vamos Dissects. It's been a minute since we were here, but of course, good things come when the good things come through. And in this very episode, we're going to be talking about the Euro 2024. Well, all the European seasons have closed, and it's time for everyone to go back to their homes and show the talent that they've been exhibiting in Europe. And well, Euro is one of those tournaments that give it to us. Well, for people that have been waiting for the likes of the Lionel Messis and know that, well, Copa America will be starting in July, so you keep your fingers crossed on that one. Well, and for those of you that are still new on the channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to tell guys that there's a one D Mutagwenda that is giving you guys a hint on what's happening in the sports action. Well, in today's episode, we're basically going to tell you guys about the groups in the Euro 2024, who are the players to watch out for and things like that. Well, in Group A is going to be a very interesting group as well. It's going to be having for you a Germany, Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland. Well, of course, the star players in Germany, these are the record these are the record holders of the Euros. Yeah, they have a total number of 3 Euros under their belt. Yeah, of course. Interesting to note that most of the guys that are called for Germany include some of the guys that won the Bundesliga recently. That's Florian Wirtz, that's Jonathan Tah, a real big stalwart in the defense inside there. But I think their star men for me will be Musiala and Florian Wirtz. Those will be guys that will be calling the shots inside there. And then I've seen there's Andrich that will be playing in the middle with maybe a Toni Kroos inside there. So keep your fingers locked on that one. The real question is, do you think Germany goes on to make it a record 4th Euro tournament inside there? And then for Scotland, I don't really see Scotland. Well, I don't really see the spark inside that Scotland team. Of course, Scott McTominay was their top scorer, I think, in the qualifiers. He must have racked out most of the goals in the qualifiers. But I think he's the only spark inside there. I don't trust their defense so much. So for you guys who are looking into Scotland, I really think most of their games will end in like an under 1.5 for them. And then when you get into Hungary, I think the main man that Hungary has is Dominik Szoboszlai. I think this is one of the one of the best technically gifted players in the world, if I might say. I think for the Hungarians, they most definitely think he's their go-to guy for anything. That's free kicks, that's driven shots, that's vision, accuracy, and all that, of course. Plus the veteran goalkeeper Gulaci. I think that's the goalkeeper of Leipzig, who did not really play a lot of football this season, but keep your eyes locked on those ones. And then for Switzerland it's one of those teams that actually know how to play tournaments. Of course, they have Badman Brezembolo, came through, I think left Mönchengladbach, and is now playing his trade in France. There's someone that you need to watch out for. Like I said, Brezembolo will be leading the lineup for Switzerland. I'm not really sure if he's going to have a say inside that one, but never forget the veteran Xherdan Shaqiri. Well, for all the games that I've watched for Switzerland, he's one of those guys that is going to put in a beautiful goal inside there, beat outside the box, beat a free kick. And then, of course, Granit Xhaka, fresh from winning with Leverkusen, is going to have a say inside that one. When we go into Group B has been termed the Group of Death. Group of Death having Spain, Croatia, Italy, and Albania. Of course, no offense to Albania, but they don't make it out of this group. That will be the very first prediction I'll give you. There's no way they're going to come out of that group, either as number 1 or number 2. In Spain, we have somebody that's looking for a record 4th Euro championship or trophy under their belt as well. And well, of course, Spain have been having of course, all their coaches over the years have been trying to take over the tiki-taka style of play and all that. But we all know that tiki-taka recently is not something that brings in the results. And then, of course, if you're to check into their lineups, of course, they've called the David Raya in the goal inside there. My most important mention that I would look into is the Yamal kid, the Barcelona guy. I think he will have a great tournament. these tournaments are tournaments that usually bring up this young talent into the mix and see how to play ball. But interestingly, after that, you get maybe the Williams kid, the kid that plays for Atletico Bilbao. Will also, that's Nico Williams. Will also be something nice to watch out. Of course, he switched allegiance to Spain, and his older brother was able to play for Ghana. But for Croatia, we don't have to speak a lot about Croatia. These are people that over the past few years, they've been trying to have a say inside European football. Of course, Luka Modric, this might be his last European competition with the guys, but never write off that Croatia side. I think they'll be looking to the inspiration of Luka Modric, just like Germany. I think Toni Kroos will also be looking to end his career with Germany. Of course, he's already retired and this is his last tournament. I think Modric is following in those exact footsteps. And then if it comes to Italy, Italy has actually called up a nice bunch of players. Yeah, of course, my most important guy that I saw inside there is Gianluca Scamacca, one of those strikers in Europe that have almost the best hold-up play, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, very many of you saw that his trade in Atlanta, and it was something that was pretty brilliant to watch. And then Italy, of course, these are the people that won the last Euro, offsetting an England side that scored them in the first minute. Very many of you remember that Luke Shaw goal that had all of us singing and dancing and trying to remember what was happening. But then, of course, when they went to the penalty shootouts, that's the time when they were able to scapegoat Rashford and Sancho and all those guys. But don't blink on that Italy side. I think they have a formidable team. The Federico Chiesas are people that you need to watch out for. Albania, on the other hand, I think their most coveted player, or maybe their best player, might be the Aslani player. That must be Aslani, the Inter Milan midfielder. But this is a player that has not really been playing very many games inside there. So you will most definitely be wondering how do they make it out of this group? But if it were up to me, I think this will be the very first thing I would call on here. They do not make it out of the group stages, most definitely. In Group C, we have Slovenia, we have Denmark, we have Serbia, and England. Well, when I start from England's point of view, the whole Sky Sports and the whole media has been hyping this England team and saying this is actually their moment. But well, I think it's too early to call for an England side that is, I somewhat think that Gareth Southgate might be a fraud, because of course, right now he's actually come through with maybe the Kobe Minos, the Phil Fodens, and all those players in England that have been a spark. But somehow I don't really fancy that England side, because of course most of their players have been having a good season. Jude Bellingham, maybe player of the season in Spain. Kobe Mino had a brilliant season with Man United, and then somehow I think the dropping of Maguire from that team will leave a lot of question in the defense, because there will not be a lot of leadership inside there. But most definitely, I think they have to leave this group. They have to come out of this group among the first two, either the winner or the runner-up. In Denmark, we have another team that Denmark, like Croatia, is a team that you cannot sleep on. Well, of course, with my guy Rasmus Højlund, someone that I've been rooting for ever since he made that big move to Man United. And then, of course, the veterans in Christian Eriksen and Peter Schmeichel. This is a team with very many veterans, but a team that actually knows how to bring in the results. So I'm most definitely thinking these guys are going to put all their money on Eriksen and Højlund, because these are people that actually have a good chemistry. If you're watching the qualifiers, they were actually pulling all the strings for Denmark. So keep your eyes on those ones. Serbia is one of those teams in Europe that very many people do not keep their eyes on them, but I think this is a pretty decent outfit in Europe. Of course, they have the top scorer of the Saudi Arabia League. That's Alexander Mitrovic. Of course, I think very many of you know what Mitrovic can do. He's a fox in the box. He's a beast in the air. He actually has a lot of goals in him. And then, of course, I think Milinkovic-Savic also has something to say inside there. With, of course, the Sevilla goalkeeper Dimitrovic, who will be looking to see how to play games for them, yeah? So, and then finally in that group, they have a Slovenia. In Slovenia, I think they have one of the strikers that has been causing alarm in Europe. That is, I don't know why his name wants to skip me. That's the player that Arsenal is actually looking to get, Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko might be an Erling Haaland Regen. He must be one of those strikers that actually have brilliant finish. They have a good shot power. He actually uses his left foot and he's actually beastly and marked. But in Slovenia, he might be the only spark that they have. But most definitely keep your eyes locked onto that one for the whole tournament. That's if they progress and go through to see how he will progress. And then in Group D, we have Poland, we have Netherlands, we have Austria and France. I'll start with France because these are World Cup finalists. Of course, they lost the World Cup to Argentina, but France, I think, of the thing that made me happy the most was N'Golo Kante was finally called up for France after very many years out of action. And now all of us know what N'Golo Kante can do in a midfield. He's going to run his ass out in that midfield. He's going to do a patrol and all of that. And then, of course, fresh from making a move to Real Madrid, Kylian Mbappe recently was speaking about how it would be good for him to win his first major trophy with France. Yeah. And then in France, like there's a lot of players that you'll look out for. Of course, Saliba, Rose Saliba, and Konate might be the guys that are partnering in that defense inside there. And then Griezmann, a very versatile and utility player for France that will be pulling the strings. In Poland, I think Robert Lewandowski might be in like his evening hours in his Poland career. And I most definitely think that this is a tournament that he'll probably be looking to increase his tally of goals in European competitions. He usually scores 1-0 in these European competitions, so keep your eyes locked on that one. And then in Netherlands, I think Netherlands is also one of those brilliant outfits coming into this tournament. They have, I think their coach has been able to build, I think they must be having one of those set of young players in the tournament. They have a Xavi Simons, Leipzig, brilliant footballer, played his trade with PSG, and somewhat he didn't see things working. He went to PSV Eindhoven, and then finally he found himself in Leipzig. He's been pulling all the strings for them. Memphis Depay might be the guy that might lead their striking force. Of course, they have a Koop Meinert, who is also one of those sought-out midfielders in Europe right now. Wait to see how that one moves for him. And then, of course, they have a Jeremy Frimpong, German Bundesliga winner, and then a DFB Pokal winner. So I think that group will also be an interesting one to watch. Of course, with Austria, Marcel Sabitzer will be their go-to man for anything to come through. We'll wait and see how that group goes through. And then in Group E, we have Belgium. Of course, I'm a Belgian. Well, I began supporting Belgium because my guy, Romelu Lukaku, aside from his first touch, I think he's the top scorer for Belgium in like all competitions. I think he's the record top scorer for Belgium. So most definitely, I'm not rooting for Belgium per se, but Belgium are my guys for the job. So in that group, there's Belgium, there's Slovakia, there's Romania, and then there's Ukraine. I think in this group, this is, I think, one of the most open groups in the tournament. Well, in Ukraine, they'll be looking into Mikhailo Modric for inspiration, right? And then for Belgium, of course, the industry of Romelu Lukaku will be very key inside that one. And then Jeremy Doku, I think this is a tournament where we get to see what Jeremy Doku can actually do. Because the last time he got a run out in the World Cup, we actually saw what he could deliver. Of course, he had a cameo inside there. And then it was something beautiful to see. I think under Guardiola next season, Doku will be something to watch out for. And then for Slovakia and Romania, these two sides, I think it might be very interesting to see how these teams manage to leapfrog Austria and Belgium in that one. But I still think in this group it will also be tight to see who comes out of it. But let's keep our eyes closed on that one. And then in Group F, we have Turkey, Georgia, Portugal, and Czech Republic. Well, if you ask me, I think Portugal has the most balanced squad in the Euro 2024. Come from the goalkeeping department to the defense, to the midfield, to the strike. Of course, when I go into the defense, Bruno Fernandes and João Neves have been having a lot of chemistry in training. And this is a partnership that Man United guys will be looking to for the future. But of course, João Neves has been playing beautiful football for Benfica. And there's a story that came through recently that said maybe the coach of Portugal right now is Roberto Martinez. I think he was tired of losing with Belgium and came to Portugal to get a more organized squad. And then he was saying João Neves was actually supposed to be playing something like under 21 or something, but they had to draft him into the first team because he had a lot of sports inside there about him. And then Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, this has been very many of us call him the greatest of all time. somebody that always has a goal in him. Be it even, I think even when Ronaldo gets to 40, he will still be kicking the ball inside there. So I think under the leadership of Cristiano Ronaldo, who will most definitely be their captain, and if he gets a run of games, it will be a very nice thing to watch. And mark me when I say this, if Bruno Fernandes has a stellar tournament in this Euro, then Portugal will actually go very far in this tournament. So when we go to Czech Republic, there's my guy Patrick Schick, Bayer Leverkusen, of course a champion with Germany, a champion with Leverkusen. But I don't really see his side going very far in this one. And then in Turkey, there's the young man from Real Madrid, Arda Güler. Very many of us, when we speak of Turkey, we remember Arda Turan, whose career went on to flop in Barcelona. And then, of course, Turkey, they have, I think, one of the best penalty takers in the world in Hakim Çalhanoğlu. I think Turkey also has something to say, has a very big say in this group. So wait to see how that one goes. And then Georgia has, I think, one of the players that really made me happy when he came to the ranks at Napoli. That's Keviki Kvaratskhelia. Yeah. But now Georgia somewhat managed to stick into the Euro 2024, but I don't really know or see where the spark comes from for them to advance. So that's basically how the groups are going to be running in the Euros. But if you're up to me and I was giving you a modest and honest opinion, I think this Euro comes down to a space of 4 teams. That is Portugal. I'd give you a Portugal. I'd give you a France. I'd give you a Germany, and then Italy. So just in case you all are thinking about maybe which teams do we think we can be putting our money on and banking on, these are the 4 teams that you would watch and want to probably see who is going to take this one. Just in case you probably want to give us an insight, an update, or tell us something about the Euro, tell us who you're rooting for and everything. Feel free to hit us up. The numbers will be below on the screen. Tell us what's going on. Tell us what you feel about the Euros. Tell us what you think is going to be the dynamic or something that will push the Euros. Aside from that, we will most definitely go again next week. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe. Also turn on those notifications just so you don't get to miss the gist about the football. Enjoy the Euros and let's wait for Copa America whenever the time comes to. Vamos, we go again.